Welcome back to Unit 4A. Today we're going to be focusing on graphing quadratics in vertex form. We're going to be graphing parabolas again today, continuing on in Unit 4A. Now we're going to be focusing in on this much easier form today. It's y, the vertex form, y equals a times the difference of x minus h squared plus k. And days ago, we did discuss the vertex. You can just look at it, and the vertex is HK. I want to remind you, though, as I've written in red, that remember that H is opposite of how it appears. That's because it appears opposite because you have a minus sign in front of it in front of the formula, in the formula. Okay, the axis of symmetry, remember, is the invisible vertical line that cuts through the vertex. It splits it in the middle. And not that we're going to use it today, but remember that the equation for the axis of symmetry is still x equals h, whatever that number for h is. Okay, so we are going to go through the same steps that we did in the previous lesson, which was standard form. We're still going to do a table of values for points after the vertex, but let's start with the vertex here. So this guy here, the vertex, I would call negative 4, 0. The h is negative 4. It's the opposite of the plus 4. And then the k, there's nothing at the end, so that k is a 0. So I'll plot that point now, negative 4, 0. And then I will draw my axis of symmetry that cuts through, that's very bad, cuts through the vertex. Now I want to get my other points in my table of values. So to do that, remember you need to look at what your x-coordinate is of your vertex. If it's negative 4, I choose the three numbers after that, such as negative 3, negative 2, negative 1. Or you can also choose negative 5, negative 6, negative 7. And now you're going to use your formula. And you're going to be doing some math 3 times. I'm going to take my formula here and use it below. Negative 3 goes in for the h. So I'll add in the parentheses. So always do parentheses first, then the squared. So that's 1. Now plugging the negative 2 in for the x. Again, this is giving me the y coordinates, so I can plot some points. So that adds up to 2. 2 squared is 4. There's another point. And then negative 1 going in for the x. So that'll be they add up to 3, then 3 squared is 9. So I have some additional points to plot. Negative 3, 1. Negative 2, 4. And negative 1, 9. So that forms the one side of my parabola. I need matching points on the other side of the axis of symmetry. So 1 over here, 1 over here, and 1 over here. And then you are going to draw a nice curved parabola extending to the top of the graph. Technically, remember, parabolas go up forever or down forever. So that was number 1. It saves you a little bit of time as compared to when we have standard form. So example 2, the a, by the way, is a negative right after the equal sign. So this guy's going to open down. Could put a plus 0 for the k there. The vertex, h, is 3. Remember, opposite of minus 3. And the k is 0. So let's plot 3, 0. Let's draw the axis of symmetry. Now let's go back to our table of values. What x's you need to carefully choose the x's. After 3 is 4, 5, 6. Or you could choose 2, 0, 1. All right, now I'm going to use the formula again. Don't worry about the plus 0. Just use this here. And it's going to get you your y, so do that 3 times. Carry over the negative. You must do the parentheses. 4 minus 3 is 1. Then, it's not negative 1 squared. It's 1 squared, okay, which is 1. And then this negative gets carried over. So your y is negative 1. So whenever you have a negative right after the equal sign, that's going to carry over for a little bit. So let's plug 5 in this time for the x. Carry over the negative. 5 minus 3. Remember, order of operations. Parentheses first. Then exponent. 2 squared is 4. Carry over the negative, okay? It's technically saying like negative 1 times, so exponent comes before multiply. And then throw the 6 in. Carry over negative, parentheses, squared, carry the negative, negative 9. All right, so let's plot those points. 4, negative 1. 5, negative 4. Hold up. I plotted that. That was supposed to be 4, a negative 1. Then 5, negative 4. And then 6, negative 9. And then get matching points on the other side of the axis of symmetry. And then draw your nice curved parabola. Next, try another one. What's the vertex here? H opposite, negative 2. K is negative 3. So negative 2, negative 3. Let's get the axis of symmetry. Now the table of values, what would come after negative 2? Let's say negative 1, 0, 1. Now we're going to use the formula and plug in negative 1 for the x. Order of operations, parentheses. You're adding in those parentheses. Then, what's left? Exponents. Exponents. So parentheses, then exponents. So 1 squared is 1. Then multiply. 2 times 1. And then subtract. Let me erase that. And now we're going to do the 0 into the formula. Parentheses, exponent, 2 squared is 4, times, and subtract to get 5. And then the 1 into the formula for x. So parentheses, exponent, multiply, and subtract. And that guy, 115, we're just going to cross it off. That would not fit on our graph. All right, so let's take those points, negative 1, and 0, 5. You get points on the other side of the AOS, here and here, and draw your very stretched out, thin parabola. Okay, try this one out on your own. So pause now and try it. Okay, the vertex here would be 1, 5. We need an axis of symmetry. Remember, I'm going fast on purpose. You can pause and rewind, but I need to keep these videos the time down or else they won't fit on Edpuzzle. Alright, so 1, 5, there's your axis of symmetry. After that, your points you want to use after 1 would be 2, 3, 4. So let's start with the 1, plug into the formula. So we got a negative. Take the 2, plug it into the formula for x. Parentheses, exponent would be 1, carry down the negative. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4. Now we're going to do the 3 into the formula for the x. Parentheses, bring down the negative. 2 squared is 4, so negative 4 plus 5 is 1. And then the 4 going in for the x. 4 minus 1 is 3. Then exponent, carry down the negative 9 plus 5 is negative 4. And plot those points. We got 2, 4. We got 3, 1. We got 4, negative 4. And then points on the other side of the AOS. And draw your parabola. That was pretty bad. And that's done. And next one, try this one on your own also. Pause the video. Vertex would be negative 3, negative 2. So negative 3, negative 2. Axis of symmetry. Just that invisible middle vertical line. Separate the left and right. Now our vertex, or our xy table of values after negative 3 would be negative 2, negative 1, 0. And we're going to use our formula 3 times. So I'm going to start with the negative 2 and plug it in for x. Parentheses, exponent, multiply, subtract. Then the negative 1. Gets 10. And then the 0. That's going to be 25. 0, 25. We are just going to get rid of it. Just cross it out. There's no way we fit that on our graph paper. So now we go to our points. We got negative 2, 1. We got negative 1, 10. And then we got points on the other side of the AOS here. And here. Just want to double check that. Negative 2, 1, 3 minus 2, 1. Yes, good. All right, that one's good. Okay, now we're going to do something totally different here. This time we're going to be given a little bit of information. It's going to tell us we have to write an equation of a parabola. And the given conditions in each of these problems, all they're going to tell us is what the vertex is and that it passes through a random point, or a point if we were to draw a parabola. So we're not drawing a parabola here. Again, our goal is to write an equation of the parabola. So we're going to write it in vertex form, our focus today. Now, the vertex they give us here, they're telling us what h and k is. So that's going to be pretty easy. So we can go, let's go like right to our end and start filling it out. So 2 in for h, and then the 5 goes in for the k. However, what am I missing in this problem? The work is to get our a. That's where the math comes in. So this 0.49 is going to help us figure out what a is. So what we need to do is use this formula, and we are going to be plugging in the 4 and the 9 for the x and the y, the 2 and the 5 for the h and the k, and it's going to help us solve for a. So let me show you what I mean by this. So I'm using the formula, follow with me. So y equals a parentheses x minus h parentheses squared plus k. So we put the 4 numbers that were given to us into the formula, and we need to find out what a is. So we are going to solve for that now. Let me show you how to do it. The first thing you're going to do, of course, is parentheses 4 minus 2 would be 2. Okay, so we subtracted. You always subtract or add first. Then you do the squared. So that would be 2 squared is 4. Instead of a times 4, we'll call it 4a. Then after that, we would subtract 5. We are now working on getting a by itself. So that subtracts to get 4 equals 4a. And then divide by 4. And we say, okay, a is 1. So we take that 1 and we plug it into the formula here. And there it is. There's our answer. Now, side note, you don't need to leave the a in your answer. Remember, or the 1 in your answer for a. Remember, when you have an a being 1, it can be invisible. So if I were to clean this up, you know how you would see it in a text or a multiple choice problem, you would not see the 1. You would just see this guy right there. Okay, let's try another one. So here I'm given the vertex, so that's going to be my HK. I don't know what my A is, so let's go down to where our answer's going to be. So y equals, we'll leave an open space for A. We don't know what that is yet. We are going to plug in parentheses x minus h, close parentheses squared, and plus k. So literally, like, that is half the problem right there. The other half is finding out what a is. That's where the 9, 4 is going to come into play. We're going to call that x and y. X and y. And we're going to use the formula that's on the top of the screen again. I'm plugging the 4 numbers in for y, x, h, and k, and I'm going to solve for a. So y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. So now I'm going to solve this for a. So I'm going to parentheses first. 9 minus 3 will get 6. Then I'm going to do my exponents. 6 squared is 36, so we'll say 36a. Then subtract 7. and then divide by 36 to get a by itself. So a is -1/12. So there's my a. I'm going to take -1/12. I'm now going to go over here and plug it in for my a. And then there is my answer to the problem. Same exact steps as example 4. Okay, I'm going to do the same exact thing right now, except I'm given a graph. So now I'm going to go to my graph. I'm going to use the same exact process. Now, let's make sense. Like we know, we can see here that we have a vertex of that point is -1, -3. So there's my HK. And then here's a point that they give you. You could just pick out any point on that parabola. And that is the point 1, 5. And remember that other point, that's going to help us find our a when we're plugging in for x and y. So here, let's go to our formula again, or our answer. We can start inputting into our answer. Y equals, we're going to leave the blank for a. We'll get that in a minute. And then x minus h, but h is a negative, so double negatives would make +1, parentheses squared, and then plus k would be -3. So now let's figure out what the a is. So use the formula again, plug the 4 numbers in. So y equals a, parentheses x minus h, double negatives, squared minus k, or plus k. And now we're going to solve this for a. So, parentheses, exponent, that would be 2 squared is 4, 4a. Add 3 to both sides. And then divide by 4. So a is 2. And we take that 2 and plug it into our answer, and we're done. Okay, one more and then we're done for the day. More, just same procedure as last time. So let's say the vertex is right here. That is the point -4, 2. That'll be my h and k in my answer. So let's go to that right away. So y equals the a we don't know yet. A parentheses x minus h, but it's h is a negative, so change to a plus. Remember, h is opposite. Close parentheses squared, and then plus k. So now let's use that hk. Let's use this point here, because it's dotted already. This point is 0, -6, and that'll be my x, y when I'm figuring out what the a is. So now I'm going to use my vertex formula again. So y equals a, parentheses x minus h, double negatives are plus 4, squared plus 2. And I'm going to solve for a. Oh, that was not supposed to be an x plus 4. I should have put in a number there. The x, that point right here, should have been 0. So 0 plus 4 is 4. Then do 4 squared, exponent. So that would be 16, 16a. Then subtract 2 from both sides. And then divide by 16. So you have that simplifies to -1/2. And now input that in for your a, and you're done. And that is the end of today's lesson on vertex form of quadratic.